Hi guys, Real Chris Gunter. Thank you for tuning in. I'm here to do another movie review. This one is over a movie I just saw called Jumanji. And as always, I like to do spoiler-free movie reviews. So I'm going to tell you a few of the things I like and some of the things I don't like. For starters, I got to tell you, this was not the best movie I saw in 2017, but it might actually be the funniest. This movie was absolutely hilarious. If you're looking for a good comedy to close out the year 2017, one that will make you laugh all throughout, look no further because you found it. The movie was excellent. The casting was well. It's got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Kevin Hart, Jack Black. Excellent cast. It was nice to see The Rock rebound a little bit from Baywatch earlier this year. Baywatch was pretty disappointing, I have to admit. But The Rock and Kevin Hart, they've got something special together. These two guys could really act well together. They've done a handful of movies now together, and all of them have been exceptional. They're very funny, and this movie was no different. Most of you are probably familiar with the original Jumanji movie that came out roughly 20 years ago, starring Robin Williams, another one of my favorite actors. This movie is a little bit of a remake, a little bit of a reboot, I guess you could say, in a way. It definitely has some references and pays tribute to the classic, but it goes in a little bit different direction, without giving away too many details other than what you would see in the trailer. Instead of going into a board game this time they get sucked into a video game. So it's a little bit different. The characters in the game were exceptional. And one of the things that started the movie off a little slow was it starts off with 4 high school kids. There are 4 very different high school kids that probably wouldn't necessarily be friends in real life. They're 4 very stereotypical kids, basically. You've got the jock, who's Mr. Athlete. You've got the stereotypical blonde girl that's the cute, preppy blonde girl, You've got the stereotypical nerdy, socially awkward guy. You've got the stereotypical nerdy, awkward girl who just got accepted to Princeton, and so on and so forth. These are 4 people that wouldn't necessarily be friends in high school or hang out, but coincidentally they all get sent to detention and then they get sucked into this game. Now, what makes it really funny is when they get sucked into the game, each of them get assigned the avatar that they had selected on the game. For example, the jock, who's this big, huge football player, he selects the avatar of the short guy on the video game. So he gets Kevin Hart, which is really funny because the jock is this huge football player. Kevin Hart, as we know, is a short guy, really short guy. The nerdy guy from high school, he picks the big muscly guy, the doctor. I can't remember the doctor's name in the game, but picks the big muscly guy. That's The Rock. So for most of them, their characters that they are in the game, that they have to try to use and work together to actually make it through and win the game, are the exact opposite characters in real life. In fact, the stereotypical blonde girl who plays the prissy, preppy high school girl, she actually gets a male, Jack Black, and Jack Black was absolutely hilarious in this. He hit the nail right on the head with his performance. It was A1. You'll enjoy it. But as we know, the only way to survive and win the game is that you have to make it through the different levels. This time it's a video game instead of a board game. This time you have to make it through the different levels, and as you know, when you're playing a video game, each level on the game gets progressively more difficult. And as they go through the games, they die and lose lives and such, and they ultimately learn that they have to work together in order to survive. Anyways, I don't want to give away too much of the movie. Most of that you can see in the trailer, but this movie was really good. The only thing I didn't like about it, I was going to say this, it was a little slow when it started off. The first probably 10 to 15 minutes are the kids that are in high school, and it was really just full of like stereotypes, like the dumb jock, the stereotypical blonde girl, the stereotypical nerd, who's the smart guy, and then the stereotypical socially awkward girl, so on and so forth. as like the first 10-15 minutes sort of dragged a little bit. But I will say, once you get to the game itself and you see how their characters that they have for their avatars in the game are the exact opposites, you kind of see how it all fits together. I have to say, this was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it's not a masterpiece. It's not the best film I saw in 2017, but it's absolutely one of the funniest, if not the funniest. I give it a 9 out of 10. Would I see it again? Absolutely. I would definitely say, if you enjoyed comedies, check this movie out. Whether you liked the original Jumanji or even if you didn't see it, this movie could stand on its own. You know, a lot of remakes, you know, they have so many references to the original film that, well, if you didn't see the original film, you wouldn't get the full effect. That's not the case with this film. This film stands by itself. I'd say if you enjoyed the original, definitely see this one. I think you'll like it without a doubt. But even if you did not see the original, see this one, you might just become a fan of Jumanji. Thank you for tuning in, as always. If you haven't gotten a chance to follow me on other forms of social media, please hit the subscribe button on my YouTube video. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all that good stuff. As always, if you agree with what I just said, make sure you leave a comment. If you disagree with what I just said, leave a comment as well. But as always, be civil. Thank you for tuning in.